Well,
You're getting Hobo Darge this week.
Well, see,
Hobo Darge.
That's exactly the good intro right there. It's perfect because we're talking about hygiene. Hello and welcome to the Captain's Table, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Paul Berserker01 Batman Shelley, your humble host and space bartender here at the Astropup, and your facilitator here on the Captain's Table. The Captain's Table is where I bring people from all over the Star Citizen universe to talk about Star Citizen. It's kind of like a talk show podcast sort of thing. Sometimes we talk about up-and-coming features. Sometimes we do some theory crafting. Sometimes we talk about people who have specific things in the verse, like, cosplay or news shows or whatever. So we have a large variety, just kind of like a variety talk show, as it were. And today we're going to be talking about a very serious topic. Absolutely not taking the piss out of it. We're being very, very professional and serious conversations.
Crap, Paul.
Yeah.
We're gonna have fun. And so if you don't like fun,
super serial conversation today.
If you don't like fun, then it's okay if you walk away. But only fun people watch to the end and make sure they like and subscribe, all of these that sort of thing. So, but without further ado, let's get introduction started. HCVertigo, who are you? Where can they find you? Or who are you? What do you do in Star Citizen, and where can they find you? And of course,
are you okay, Paul? You having a stroke over there?
Yes. Other than being the Sultan of Salt yourself.
I am HCVertigo. I'm a full-time content creator, doing most of my content on Twitch TV/HCVertigo, but I do have a YouTube channel. So you can check out the YouTube channel for some more of my. I'm doing more edited videos these days. At least I'm trying to. It's kind of a slow process for me. Stream updates, channel updates on Twitter, HCVertigo on Twitter. Got a Discord as well. That's pretty much it. Mostly Star Citizen, a lot of science fiction. We're doing Elden Ring these days because I do like the Dark Souls series. So I decided to let's take some time to do some Dark Souls, Elden Ring kind of stuff. From Software, very popular, very, very, very much a fan of From Software.
Nice. And Darjanator, who are you? What do you do in Star Citizen, and where can they find you?
Hello, my name is Darjanator, and you know who I am.
They do. If they've watched me, but I will say, just like Disco Lando says, every show is someone's first show. So
I am a man of the internet. Used to run a podcast called The Fortnightly Frontier, which has been on a longer hiatus than I like. Hopefully coming back soon, but other than that, I usually run some things in the background. Like, for instance, I draw things. Like, I make pretty things. I made this overlay.
This overlay, yeah.
The new logo. I really like the logo I made for the Captain's Table. Yeah, I was inspired by that one. But other than that, started working for JRDF, the suppliers of the only official
Hold on.
Miniatures. Kit models of Star Citizen ships.
Work for this now.
Yeah. So. Yeah.
A little cutlass purple.
It's the cutlass purple. It's the party cutlass. Yeah.
Yeah.
We made that one specifically with a stripper pole in the back for Paul.
What's that?
We made that one specifically with a stripper pole in the back for you.
Yes, just for me. Yes. The purple.
Yeah, but other than that, I like to annoy idiots on the Reddit.
He does things that I've stopped caring about a long time ago.
It gets me in trouble more often than not. But I don't give up. I don't give a poop.
All right.
Also, I drink and know things.
Yes, he does drink and know things. So let's get started with the conversation. As I said in the very beginning, we're going to be talking about hygiene. And it's one of those things that it gets brought up every so often when Chris Roberts comes on and talks a little bit. It kind of settles in the background. But a lot of people don't know that CIG has sort of hinted at some significant impact that hygiene will have on your gameplay, your regular gameplay.
Hinted at, like, just about a whole bunch of ships have toilets in them, Paul. I was surprised.
Yeah, functioning.
Back when the Constellation was released, they even bothered modeling. The Constellation Mark 1 was first released to the hangar module. This was before I was a streamer, back in like 2014-ish, when the Constellation was added to the hangars. I did a tour of it, and I was just like, why is there a bathroom in this thing? Do they really intend us to actually use the bathroom in this game?
You used to be able to sit on them. You used to be sit on toilets.
Some of them.
Sit on the toilet.
Yeah. So. The new Hull A also has a bathroom shower combo. So they're still going strong with that idea, even with new ships.
Yeah.
So obviously they intend those to be, I guess, useful, or they're just decorative.
So the question
Paul,
is,
I think you're making a point here.
The point being that Darjanator, what is your thoughts on hygiene? Is CIG's
personally or in game?
In game. Hygiene, like in terms of like hygiene's place in Star Citizen, do you think CIG is overdoing it? Do you think they're underdoing it? Do you think that there are some aspects that people haven't seen before? Go on your discussions. Tell me what do you think about hygiene
I don't want them to go too far into it, just because.
What, you don't want another bar you have to manage while you're out in the middle of nowhere?
Yeah.
And actually, it would be like another 2 bars.
Yeah.
You got either of you guys
3 or 4.
Scum?
I mean, we could add the number 1, the number 2, and then we can have a hygiene bar for like stench and whatnot, because you have to be able to, do stench and whatnot.
Dirt behind the ears.
Dirt
behind the ears build up.
Yeah,
and then of course you have like a disease bar because your hygiene's so bad.
How about hygiene even for clothing? Like clothing
wear and tear. Well, that's covered under wear and tear.
Wear and tear and dirt. We have that for ships.
So it's coming to our suits. I'm assuming our clothing.
And you're going to probably have to wash them or maintain them somehow. So the question is, Darjanator, your thoughts? How in depth do you think CIG should go with this?
Not really. Not really deep. Not the way Scum went, where like you had to poop, otherwise you were encumbered and couldn't go into combat just because you were turtling or something. And then you had to keep tabs on your vitamin levels. That was just that was a metabolism simulator disguised as a battle royale game.
Yeah.
Haven't played it recently, but I hear they nerfed it because of the same sort of backlash that Star Citizen is going to get if they get into it.
I watched somebody play Scum for all of a half hour, and I was just like, no. I just said no to the concept, and I'm just like, nope, this is not for me.
It's important to remember.
I watched them open up like the little status indicator they had that showed them everything, like just a whole bunch of vitamins, like iron and vitamin C, and this like your hydration
content.
Yeah, stomach contents,
bladder content.
Yep.
Well,
bladder contents.
You got to remember that even Atlas, the Arc clone, Atlas, which has got a lot of similarities to Star Citizen, had like a full blown like nutrition. You couldn't just eat like meat or berries.
It couldn't be like Sea of Thieves where you're just scarfing down bananas all the time. You actually had to have a balanced diet.
You had a balanced diet and stuff like that.
Or Skyrim, you eat 50 wheels of cheese and you're good to go for another round with the boss.
Do you think
you're literally pause time to scarf down 50 pounds of potatoes?
Yeah. Do you think? What do you think about like things like interactions with food? As we're talking about that with our Darj.
I like it from a social point of view.
Okay.
Look, I'd really like for them to have like a deployable pizza box. You put a pizza box on a table, you open it, and people could take a slice of pizza out of the box. And it's from a social point of view, sure, and from a basic nutritional point of view, sure. Like eating maybe once every second play session just to keep your energy levels up. That is as far as terms of food I'd like them to go, just to keep energy levels up, just stamina sort of thing.
Okay.
What we have now. Pooping? You know what? No, I don't want in there to be pooping for players. Okay. NPCs, for them to have a sort of a believable
cycle.
Routine cycle. Every once in a while you're gonna see someone walking out of a toilet. Fine, just because of that. But for it to be a necessity, I don't want it to be a necessity. I mean, it's the 30th century. How come they haven't made the human metabolism 100% efficient yet? Come on.
It's also a game.
That's a game, yeah. In terms of scent, like body odor.
Yeah. Do you like that? Still like that idea of like having NPCs dealing with you differently depending on how you smell?
That I do.
How is that realistic, Paul? How is having to take a shower once a day realistic? Answer me that.
Spoken like a true gamer.
That I actually that I do, just because it creates depth of interaction in the gameplay. I mean, it's not just something that's there to specifically just to hinder it.
Wait, what game has done that before? What game has required you?
Because it can go other way. Because it can go the other way. If you're too clean smelling and perfumed up and you walk into Grimhex, people are not gonna like you. It is a sort of like a way of presenting it.
You smell like roses, rich boy.
Yeah, but going around with a full cold and not being able to fight just because you're doing the shuffle thing, that's a bit too far.
Okay. So you're saying like hygiene should be important. How about shaving? You think things like shaving should be added to the game? Because I mean,
first they have to add facial hair.
Yeah, I mean, people have been talking about beards, and CIG's even talked about the idea of doing it. So would you think that like shaving should be a thing? And this isn't too far off the base. Games like Red Dead Redemption have both of those factors in there constantly. About like haircuts and shaves and like cleaning and like that sort of thing.
In terms of presentation, I think it could work same way as tattoos, as styles of clothing. But yeah, if it serves a purpose in either direction,
okay,
sure, yeah, I'm for it.
Vertigo, your thoughts? The full suite of hygiene, even food, which we're throwing food in there because it kind of has an impact if we're talking about it. What are the limits? What is your ideal limits for this sort of thing? Should we just throw the whole thing out? Concept, like whole concept.
I mean, I would love to. I would love it to be like more of a, like Darj says, more of a social aspect to the game instead of actually like eating, for example. Like it's something you do for role playing, not something you do to seriously maintain anything. But obviously, CIG's decided to go the other direction and make this more of a serious survival kind of mechanic. And it makes sense. You go out into the unknowns of space and suddenly like, oh no, we didn't bring any food with us. We're going to die out here. Time to go foraging for supplies.
But for it to be like a farming game disguised as something else, where you actually have to actively worry about eating every 15 minutes, like in some other survival games.
I'd rather not. It be 15 minutes. Like I was a bit worried with 317 when they said they were nerfing the timers, but it's not that badly nerfed.
I played for about an hour, and my because I couldn't escape Lorville. I was walking around Lorville for about an hour, and my thirst went down to about 70%, and my hunger went down to about like 96%.
Yeah. So and you have to realize that the orbital the day periods for a lot of these planets are like super sped up, so you can actually see a sunrise within a reasonable amount of time while you're playing the game. So like a sunrise sunset on Lorville is like what, 4 hours or something, 4 or 5 hours.
4 hours, yeah.
So you should literally be getting hungry like once every hour.
Yeah.
Or something like that. Or same with thirst.
Yeah.
Well, you should be able to go like a week with that, but you should be getting thirsty. You shouldn't die of thirst within like 2 or 3 days.
Yeah.
Essentially. You should be really thirsty.
I do like that they're making it persistent. Like if you go to bed at 50% hunger, you wake up with 50% hunger.
Yeah, that's one of those. But why now? Why bother implementing that now in the alpha? It's too easy.
Because it's a persistence thing. It's
going to happen eventually.
You know, I'd rather see have persistence first. Well, all the shit I collect, I'd rather throw that into my bathroom and still have it when I log back in.
Yeah, that's a lot harder than taking what's already supposed to be persistent and then hook it up. It's a lot less. There's a lot less information about
But you have to maintain the code base though.
Yeah, but it's the actual hookup thing. The code base is already there. It's going to go in for it's also going to.
That's going to go in any point in time, but it's just kind of like in the way.
Yeah.
They might as well just make it so they count down really slow, like. Why accelerate the hunger thirst mechanics and why make it persistent at the same time? Like the hunger and thirst bars work. Like the only thing we're testing now is persist. Whatever.
They're just balance.
I don't like it. I don't like the bars that much. Having to maintain them.
So
when it comes down to hygiene, it's just more crap. You got to maintain more stuff. You got to juggle.
Hey,
People are gonna mitigate this stuff. They're gonna crap their pants and not care about those the poo and piss bars. They're just gonna when they take their flight suit off, it's just gonna be full of shit and piss.
If they introduce like sort of this artisanal farming community where they only where they only fertilize their crops with feces, like actual feces instead of synthetic fertilizers, you could get one of those boxes from the cargo center, poop into that, and when it's full, take it to that farm and sell it for like 10,000 LVC.
There we go. Selling poop to hippies. Yeah,
make it useful.
And chat's already been like
tonic. Mark Watley disagrees.
Human feces isn't very good fertilizer. It's true. It's not good fertilizer, but it's better than nothing. And it's called night soil for a reason. It still does work.
I mean, there's better fertilizers out there, but it does work.
This is the 30th century, and if someone's living in the middle of an asteroid field, I don't think they have a lot of access to good fertilizer. Poop is very common.
Anyways, I want it to be useful.
Yes.
If it's not useful, if it's just there to hinder your experience, it's not good gameplay.
Yeah. Any other thoughts, Vertigo? Do you like the idea of things like showering, requiring someone to shower in game for like dealing with NPCs or those sort of things?
It's I kind of have the same feeling about like elevators and trams. Like I feel like that's something that's a contrivance.
Mm-hmm.
It's just put in there for the sake of being there. A lot of what game has required that? I can think of one. I can think of one game that has put that in. No.
Yeah.
There's another game. There's two games now. Red Dead. I didn't know Red Dead Redemption actually required you to take baths and whatnot. But Metal Gear Solid 5: The Phantom Pain had NPC reactions based on whether you showered recently or not.
Wasn't there like a stealth game, and you had to be upwind or downwind from them for them to detect you or something like that? Or was it basically just for interactions?
That was like the hunter game. Like it was like a Cabela's hunting game. Yeah, yeah. There was like a dedicated game for hunting that was like that. Yeah.
See, because that makes sense because it affects your gameplay, but not just in a hindrance.
Yeah.
Right. And my point is, though, this is kind of like this sort of mechanic is not something you see a lot in gaming. So I think a lot of people would kind of get put off by it. Besides just the NPCs, you'd kind of like, what do you mean I have to shower for NPCs to give me good deals?
Well, if you read their patch notes, they're introducing SMOIP.
Spell over IP.
Yep.
Yeah, 3.16.2. Very serious patch notes.
Go read them. Including that the Cutlass Black is getting a toilet, and all the other ships that don't have get the Drake bucket as well.
Mm-hmm.
Those little Kovalex buckets with the top cut off them.
Yep,
I love it.
Anything else? Any other thoughts on hygiene and poop? Do you think pooping? You don't think pooping and peeing should be in the game? I'm guessing.
If it is, I think they should do what they did with the Metal Gear Solid 5: The Phantom Pain, where your character has an animation of going into the alcohol. You have this basically a porta potty shower combo kind of thing. Your character goes in, 5 seconds go by, your character comes out like covered in water, and you just almost instantaneously dry off, and then everything's taken care of.
So more of a small contrivance or small inconvenience rather than something that's like detailed. You tell me you don't want a mini game where you have to push it out, like you have to just like you have to
like a rhythm game, like or something.
Yeah, because it's best if you rock back and forth, not if you actually strain to push.
Do you want to buy the optional accessory of Squatty Potty, and so you can
the controller,
so your legs are
Squatty Potty controller.
Raised,
yeah. You know.
Oh no, you'd have. It'd be amazing to play with a controller.
Paul, like you are. Oh my God, Paul, you are going to like fetish territory now with like the special controllers you can design for like for this sort of thing. I don't think I want to. I don't even think I want to talk about it.
Then don't. Please don't. It's already but this video is already getting not getting monetized.
I know you're already losing money.
Yeah,
I mean, the entire video is a shit post. Come on.
Yeah,
I know, right?
in Cyberpunk, you had the ability to shower, but that did nothing. It was basically like in Duke Nukem 3D. You walk up to a urinal and you press whatever it was.
I think it gave you some health back using the urinal in Duke Nukem 3.
No, I don't think so. Well, I've only done it when my health was at 100, so it possibly, yeah. But it does nothing in Cyberpunk other than
it's just a cutscene,
like the animation. Yeah.
I'll go over my thoughts.
I mean, good for role play, like you said, but
I honestly do not think like defecation and urination should be in the game. That's a step too far for me. That's the bridge.
Or at least not in like any sort of fidelity.
No, definitely not in fidelity, but I wouldn't even want it in like as like a bar. Like that just doesn't make a lot of sense. I mean, I get it.
You don't want procedural poop, based on what you eat. Whether it's a solid
you
one
see
or
little chunks
a
of corn come
one.
out. Wouldn't be able to like.
I don't want.
Do you not want constipation, Paul?
I don't. I don't.
So you have to get one of those stool softener pens from the pharmacy.
Still softener pen. Oh, God, you have to have a special port to apply it to your spacesuit.
This whole idea sounds like the problem is it sounds super Chris Roberts. Because correct me if I'm wrong, Vertigo, as an expert in Chris Roberts games, Chris Roberts is all about pushing the envelope in ways that people don't expect.
Push it.
No, don't push. Rock back and forth.
Rock back and forth. There's so many knock-ons to like just having like just the bars, just even having hygiene. There's so many questions you could open up, and it's just like CIG has a hard enough time like addressing adult content officially. Like I don't understand what it is. Like they're making an adult-oriented game with slavery, violence, and
they're squeamish about like skirts in the game.
Skirts, like what do they call it? Bikinis, like
bathroom,
not bathroom, like beachwear, like swimsuits, like bikinis and thongs and whatnot, and like they shut down like those threads on Spectre because we can't. Oh, that's not for Star Citizen discussion. Like, bitch, please.
Yeah.
So you think you're gonna get a pin? You think you're gonna pin down a CIG employee and get them to actually seriously discuss? Like, okay, we're gonna have to have stool softeners because we're gonna have constipation from like certain diseases if you eat too much Punjabi fruit. Where the fuck that name of that fruit is? Paul, what is the name of that fruit?
I don't remember the name of the fruit.
It's not Punjabi fruit. I'm fucking it up so hard.
It's P something or other. Yeah, but it's the problem. I don't mind showering. And I don't mind
Punjab fruits.
I don't mind sitting on the toilet or being able to sit on the toilet because I think the toilet is a great way of stopping an AFK timer. So like if you are away and you're away because you have to use the restroom or you have to go do something else, and the game has an AFK timer for like you to get timed out. So, but if you sit on the toilet, it gives your like character a certain extra amount of time before the log out time. It's a nice little
would be amazing if it is an actual AFK thing. Like you come back to your character having mobiGlass on and just playing a video game on.
Yeah, something like that. It's part of the immersion, but it's also part of the gameplay because it adds some aspect of the game which will allow for.
Because they had that like Grand Theft Auto 4 where you would leave the game and you'd log back in for another session. Your character would be just in some weird place doing something.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Like I remember logging out on 4th and 1st Avenue, and my character's all halfway across the city at like 21st. And why did my character? Because your character lives a life outside of like your game.
Yeah. Well, in GTA 5, whenever you switch characters, they're either in the car or stepping out of like a strip club, a coffee shop. Just sleeping in their own bed, depending. It was also time dependent, and based on which character you switch to. Like for instance, for Trevor, it was very often that you would just wake up surrounded by corpses and covered in blood because Trevor.
Oh
yeah. And like just having those things, and like I think showering is like a quick animation of just you getting into a shower, just going and walking out is fine. Like because
insta naked and insta clothed.
It also forces players because there's I would argue that it has like showering and that sort of hygiene thing has a place in the game because of things like reputation and other gameplay because in certain cases, if players are just, I'm going to go get this mission from this person, whatever, and they just don't care, then there's no way of teaching the player to go, this is a serious matter. You have to deal with it. If you're going to meet the boss of a crime syndicate and you show up like in full combat armor or in like schlubby street clothes, you don't have anything fancy, and then just being like, get the fuck out of here. Like, that makes sense. And it's similar to like you walking in and you smell like you've been in space for 3 weeks and not showered.
What does space smell like, Paul?
There's actually a smell.
No,
there is actually.
What does vacuum smell like?
A bit like iron is said, but that doesn't. But it's not sure whether it's the actual space smelling like iron or if it's your capillaries bursting in your nose and you're smelling the blood.
Capillaries bursting in your nose. You're smelling your own blood.
And anyone who's been in lockdown,
but they're using mechanical digital olfactory meters to measure that, so it's not actually someone's nose bursting.
It's like burnt toast, I think is what it's supposed to smell like too, as well. Something like that.
That's when you're having a stroke.
I know that too, but there's some other like,
not that kind of stroke, you know.
But like anybody who's been in lockdown in the last 3 years knows what happens when like days bleed together and you're stuck in a small space for a while, and you go, oh shit, you know, your rooms are going to start smelling unless you open up the windows or start cleaning more frequently, and those sorts of things.
It's not like being stuck in space for 3 weeks, being stuck in the same undersuit for 3 weeks.
For 3 weeks, yeah, I guess that's my point. My point being, like, there needs to be the world needs to have some element to it where it demands that you do something that's not just shoot people or whatever, like take you out of your comfort zone a little bit, because that builds the immersion and builds the connection with the universe. Because if you go, I literally had to do a mission where I made 100,000 UEC, but I had to go buy a suit. Like, I don't have a suit, so I had to go buy a suit and shower and shave to be able to get 100,000 UEC.
I'm sure they're going to have that for like reputation gates for like even getting into Lorville. You're going to have to take your armor off. We know that for a fact. You're not going to be you're a full assault loadout into like the central business district in Lorville. They're not going to let you through security with your fucking heavy armor on, grenades, many pens, many cool tool, gun, railgun, missile launcher.
But on the other hand, walking into a battlefield like dressed like Jebediah Hurston or whatever his name was, it's gonna be the exact opposite.
Yeah.
So
exactly. Like, and if you like, maybe there's missions where you have to go intimidate someone. If you smell like weak old shit and you're carrying around like the meanest looking armor you can find, then people will probably want to tell you whatever they need to know, because they just don't want to be around you when you smell like weak old onions and look like you just murdered a cat. You know, so like Hygiene has a place for beyond just the immersion, but also for like gameplay purposes that can be put in there. That'd be my argument. But I do agree that there is a step too far, and things like having to know about, as we've joked about before, diarrhea or constipation as part of medical gameplay as part of it is dumb. That's a little bit too far, I think. I don't know.
What about eating a burrito an hour before you have to go on a stealth mission, then giving away your location because you were farting?
They had that. They had that in Metal Gear, except instead of farts, it was you'd strangle out, you'd choke out a guard who had a cold or something, and you get the cold, and then you'd start sneezing everywhere, which would give you your position away.
And
this is why you wear a spacesuit. That way your farts don't escape.
Nope, they just go straight to your nose.
No.
And that's the definition of an origin jump ship owner.
It starts very slowly inflating.
What movie was that where they had? Oh, it was Rocket Man. It was a Disney movie. Did anyone see Rocket Man? They had that as a gag. Let me tell you about this. Let me spoil Rocket Man.
All right,
I can't remember the guy who was. He's one of those B actors. He was like that guy who did really bad comedy movies back in the day. And he started across that other guy. So they have this. It's a comedy, right? A Disney comedy for like kids and whatnot. So they go to Mars and they land on Mars and have the life support system of one guy's suit fails. So like, we'll hook our suits together so we can both breathe. And the other guy starts farting, and he realizes this guy, because his suit's starting to swell up from all the farting, and he starts to choke off the start to squeeze the cord between them, the hose between them, and you can see the fart traveling up the hose.
It's literally the poster.
Yes.
It's literally on the poster of the fan. Yep, that's it.
Before anyone gets angry about this is legitimate discussions because it's in a movie, and we all know that if it's a space movie, then Chris Roberts is probably going to
rip it off.
Rip it off at some point.
But you could use it for thrust.
Yeah.
Well,
it's something I've been joking about for years, ever since the Drake Herald was introduced. I keep saying that the toilet's connected directly to the afterburner. Yeah.
Yes. The only thing I would say that is for any kind of like pooping or peeing or kind of like that sort of like waste mechanic would be, if you're gonna go in, you got to go all in with that. Like there's got to be like a septic system that fills up, that adds weight, that you have to clean out, that has problems, because anyone knows septic tanks also breed like very noxious and sometimes flammable fumes. So that tank is now stuck somewhere on your ship. If it gets hit, it blows up, and now there's a poopy fire coming all throughout your ship. Like,
what about refining? We're getting refining in 317.
Turning those things into other commodities. Like we joked about, like not like night soil, like the idea of turning those things or refining
into proper useful fertilizer. Sure.
Yeah. Or recycling the like waste, like urine, into water, into drinkable water, so you can having an onboard system to do those sorts of things.
That's kind of too far. I'd say that's kind of too far. If this was like just a space like long haul spaceship simulator, where you were stuck on the ship all the time, then I would accept that is one of the systems you'd have to take care of. But your spaceship in Star Citizen is just one small part of the entire experience. I think having too many systems to worry about for one particular part of the game would be too much.
But that's my point. It's like you either have to go 100,000% sim on that, which would mostly suck and probably not be fun and probably be a hindrance to the game you want to make.
I'm just saying, I'd love to play that game. Like being stuck on a long haul Odyssey or a Carrack and having to worry about manage like a ship management system.
Yeah.
But only that'd be great. In Star Citizen, going too far.
Yeah, I think it's with the stuff that's already there with management and that sort of thing. I think that's going a little too far for that. So I think there needs to be a balance between those sorts of things. But I also think it matters for like a long time, because I know there are people who are probably watching this video on YouTube right now or in the chat on Twitch right now who are legitimate like stands of this sort of gameplay. They want this. They want the scum. They want the pure sim situation. And like, I don't know what to say other than I don't think that's a good idea. Because I played Atlas, and like Atlas is very, very in depth. And I used to do a lot of Atlas roleplay. And the problem about roleplay is that you don't want to have to like eat a balanced meals all the time when you're trying to have fun in roleplay. Because even with roleplay aspects, it's like I want to be able to eat when it makes sense for my character to eat in terms of like the context, not because my character is dying because they haven't eaten the right balance of food in the last 2 minutes. So there is elements to it. And I think CIG is doing a good balance so far, but I think this is the kind of that bridge too far, because I don't want to hear that some poor animator had to animate the liquid versus solid nature of how poo goes into a toilet. That sounds disgusting and terrible. That's all I'm going to say.
But hey, if it enables them to create runtime fluid dynamics for the game, or liquid simulation.
They had procedural mess hall tech for like their foods.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So no plate of beans look the same. I'm pretty sure they could do the same thing for their mess. The other sort of mess.
The other sort of mess.
Yeah.
For food though, I actually think that they could go more in depth with food. And I think they could have some interesting stuff for food.
Because they're I kind of sort of agree because it is it's a visual aspect of it that you want to see. Yeah, good looking food attracts you, but if you see the same plate of spaghetti 10,000 times in a row, it loses that magic.
But also, like, the difference between grabbing a hot dog and getting a home cooked meal should matter in terms of your hunger and thirst meter. You know, just for gameplay point of view. If I took the time and I went to this restaurant and I got food that I needed to eat those food, even if it's just I showed up, got the food, ate it, and left, and it was like 2 minutes, and I spent the time to do that, then I should be rewarded with like not having to have hunger or thirst meter go drop down as fast or.
There is saturation in terms of food, like you get to 100%, and then there's another. I guess it technically goes higher than 100%, and depending on the quality of the food, it would go higher, and then it starts immediately dropping, but then it takes a while until it gets to 100%, and then starts dropping from there.
Yeah, something like that would make sense, because I know that there are people...
fast food would just go to 100%, but something you make yourself would go to 150 or maybe even higher.
Yeah, and there's plenty of I know plenty of people who want to have more like cooking mechanics so they can cook in game, especially with something to do, give you something to do on those longer haul trips, or those people who are living on like planets, because they can use that as a part of the game, so that they don't have to, like, if you're working a mining facility on a planet, you don't want to have to stop every 3 to 4 hours to shove a hot dog in your mouth and grab something to drink. If you just could do that and say, I'm going to be fine for the next 8 hours with this, then it gives you kind of that gameplay edge. It's a sort of like how like buffs with food in the past. So yeah, I don't know. I think we have beat this dog to death finally. After
beat the shit out of it.
Beat the shit out of it. After so much crappy jokes about poop, I wanted to just nip it in the bud. So thank you for joining us so far. We're going to be moving over to the question and answer session.
Hey, this is going to be even better.
A short one.
That was a short one. Well, I've been getting about like 45 minutes has been the average. 30 to 45 minutes has been the average. Just because a good solid focused discussion is better than like an hour long of rambling BS.
Right. Yeah.
And
I'm gonna say, poop jokes aren't my favorite, but they're a solid number 2. Hey.
Thank you for watching. If you're watching this on YouTube, make sure you like, subscribe, go to HCVertigo's YouTube channel as well as his Twitch to go subscribe to them there, and you can see Darj, with Vertigo and I both here, as well as Darj on the Spice Must Roll. He plays
that one. Yeah.
And make sure you go to JRDF, JR Design and Fabrication to get yourself some nice Star Citizen miniatures.
JRfabrication.co.uk, but not for long. Well, the domain will still exist, but I think we're moving specifically to jrdf.co.uk.
So go do that.
Easier to remember.
Like I say every time, hope to see you someday in the black. God, that was shit.
Yeah.